Morning everyone and welcome to ASH channel. Today we will discussing an extremely important subject in the education system recently that draw a considerable amount of attention to it, especially for the parents. Let's dive right into it. Girls and boy achievement at school. First of all, there's a feminist named Louise Archer. She came up with a reason for differences in the conflict between working class girl feminism identities and the value of ethos of the school. There's a thing called symbolic capital which refers to the status, recognitions and sense of worth that we are able to obtain from each other. Okay, that's enough talking to me. Let's meet Louise and understand more about it.
Hello everyone, I'm Louise and I'll tell you more about my work on this. I found that by performing their working class feminine identities, the girls gained symbolic capital from their peers. However, this brought them into conflict with school, preventing them from acquiring educational and economic capital. The girls are seen as having several strategies that the girls followed for creating a valued sense of self, which means adopting a heterosexual feminine identity, having a boyfriend, and being loud.
Yes, such a great research you've done. Now let's move on to working class girls' dilemma. There are two types, either gaining symbolic capital or gaining education capital. Louise, tell us more about it.
You were saying about symbolic capital and educational capital, right? Gaining symbolic capital from their peers by conforming to a hyper-heterosexual feminine identity when they invest a considerable time, effort, and money is constructing desirable and glamorous. The other case is educational capital when the girls rejecting their working class identities and conforming to the middle class notion. The deal students. Some other girls cope with the dilemma by defining themselves as good underneath.
Exactly. We just focus on girls but doesn't mean we can ignore boys, right? Because we are living in the modern society, right? Before meeting our next special guest, let's watch a video.
When they come to class, boys have got certain roles and the girls have different roles to play.
The gender issue in education is huge. Boys are massively underachieving compared to girls. In theory, what we should see if girls are outperforming boys at school is more women in CEO positions and more women starting companies, but we don't see that, and we haven't seen that historically. Any country, any part of any country has their underachieving population. What we generally see is that is boys, and we generally see that it's boys of minority ethnic groups. It's interesting in the UK that actually it's our white boys that underachieve.
Students graduate and they enter the market. They know very little about these gender differences and how to handle them.
I think that different nations have different societal issues.
One needs to look at our historical background in terms of the causes of gender inequality, which is rooted in the socio-economic setup that we have.
You'd be surprised to see that the problems that you're struggling with, other countries have long solved it. Obviously, when you adopt a skill or a concept from another country, you don't want to just come and throw it in your own country.
We share our experiences and also learn from best practices from other countries.
The model is less about gender and more about equipping every child with the skills that they need to be able to go on and do any subject that they want to do.
Usually, boys are seen as having a poor literacy and language skills. It might be because the parents spend less time reading to their son and they tend to encourage them to do outdoor activities and socialize rather than staying at home and reading. This can further have an impact on their performance at school later.
There has been a significant decline in heavy industry and the result of economic socialization. Kind of manufacturing mainly employed men, many boys now believe that they have little prospect of getting a proper job. This undermines their motivation and self-esteem, and so they give up on trying to get the qualifications.
We understand, and you have reported another hypothesis called feminism of education. Can you tell us more about it?
Hello, I'm Tony Sewell, and I think boys have fallen behind because of the educational system has become feminized. The school don't nurture masculine traits such as competitiveness and leadership. So, how could we solve it? I feel like coursework should be replaced with the final exams, a greater masculine emphasis placed on an outdoor adventure.
What do you think about the shortage of male primary school teachers?
Well, there are not much to say because there are not enough male teachers in the schools. There's been a research that 8 to 11-year-old boys have no lessons whatsoever with the male teacher because male teachers can put strict discipline on boys in order to make them concentrate.
Some of your college argues that ladies' subcultures have contributed to boys' underachievement. Debbie Enspin examined the masculinity is constructed within school. She found that working class boys are likely to be harassed, labeled as sisters, and subjected as homophobic.